Come a little closer, let me show you guys something. Were you guys aware that on the back of every iPhone there's a button that you can customize to do whatever you want? So if I double tap on the rear of the phone, I can actually go straight to the camera, and even better yet, I set up a custom battery saving mode where if I triple tap, the brightness goes down to 20%, I go into do not disturb mode, and I go into low power mode as you can see. This is one of the many iOS tips that Apple doesn't really tell you about that you can do on pretty much any iPhone that I want to show off today. So here are my favorite 15 iOS tips and tricks that not a lot of people know, and these are kind of like the deep cut ones. Let's get into it. But now before we continue, if you guys do enjoy videos like this one, where we keep you up to date on all things Apple, consider subscribing to the channel and help us get to 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. We're creeping closer and closer by the day. But now let's talk about the first tip. Well, alright everyone, let's get right into this, and I am using my iPhone 17 Pro. It's running iOS 26.5 beta, but as long as you're on a relatively modern version of iOS, even iOS 26, you'll be good to go to run pretty much everything that we mentioned in this video. So let's start off with the first one that I mentioned, which is going to be that back tap. So if I back tap like I saw in the very beginning, you can see that a little option comes up there and it does open the camera, and then if I triple tap, I have it set up into battery saving mode. So it went to 20% battery, it went into do not disturb mode, and it also turned on low power mode. Let's turn that back up so we can see exactly what's going on. In order to set this up is actually very easy. So all you do is you go into your settings and go down to accessibility, go down to where it says touch, then go all the way down to where it says back tap. Now you're going to want to turn this on, but the back tap allows you to change up two different versions. You have your double tap and your triple tap, and you can basically set this up to anything. There's a couple of predetermined ones like the system, you have a bunch of different shortcuts, the ability to bring up Siri, you have some more accessibility settings down here as well, and then of course you have your shortcuts. You can create custom shortcuts and then map it to the back tap the same way that you would map it to something like your action button. So again, you don't need a modern iPhone for this to happen, you just need to have an iPhone, maybe an iPhone 12 and newer. So this is the action button before we even had an action button. The next one is going to be the ability to drag and drop different media types between different applications. So a great way to show this off is, let's go into the Notes application. Let's open up a brand new note here. Let's leave that the way that it is, and then let's go into the Photos app. So let's grab one of these photos from the Photos application, and all I have to do is grab this, move it around, and maybe grab a couple more so I can press as I'm going in real time. And then switch over to the next one and then just drop them in there. So all four of those photos now have shown up in my Notes application, very easy to go through, and you can do that with pretty much any application. So you can do that with the Notes app, with the Messages app, with your Mail app. You can drag and drop media types in pretty much any app that you can throw media into. And then if we stay inside of here, let's say we want to write something here, so let's start typing stuff out, boom, spacing, whatever. If anything, we'll just, let it do its thing, see what kind of sentence shows up when I go like this. Now that we have some sort of text here, there's a couple of different ways to pinpoint exactly what text you're trying to edit, right? So if I go, you can actually long press on here and you get the magnifier. Now this magnifier has been around for years. It's changed the look, the UI and things like that. And you can kind of find out what's going on there. But an even easier way is when you go into trackpad mode. Now, not a lot of people know about this, but if you long press on the spacebar, the whole keyboard goes blank and turns into a trackpad. So you can see that the cursor is moving where I'm going. And I actually like this way of doing it better than the magnifier, especially when I'm trying to get in between words. I feel like with the magnifier, it always kind of defaults to going in the beginning or the end of the word, or even when I'm just tapping anywhere, like if I just want to tap into one of these words, you can't really get in the middle of different letters in a specific word. The cursor, if you long press on here, you can do that and do that however you see fit, and you can even go into different items and different media types, as you can see that the cursor is now there. So an easy way to navigate text anywhere, and again, anywhere that the keyboard shows up, this is possible. And then if we stay inside the keyboard itself, if you do have a larger iPhone, this is not that big of a deal with mine because I do have a regular 17 Pro, but if you have a 17 Pro Max, or maybe you have an older Plus model, or even the iPhone Air with a 6.6-inch display, sometimes the keyboard is a little bit too big to one-hand it. So if you long press on the globe icon, you have a different keyboard settings here. So I have my emoji keyboard and my GIF keyboard, which is a third-party one. But you also have right and left mode. So those two little features, if you tap on one of them, it actually shifts the keyboard to one side. So you can still physically type on it with one finger. If I long press on here, go to this side. And what's nice about this is that your swipe mode still works, your different typing modes still work, but it makes it easier to type one-handed if you are just using your thumb. So I can go here and say hello, and it still works out very easily. So, and if you want to go back to the normal size, you can either long press on the globe and go to the regular keyboard, or just click on the little arrow and then it goes back to the normal size. So being able to adjust your keyboard in real time is fantastic for easy one-handed use, especially with a larger phone, and there's a mode for this also in iPads if you guys want to check that out, which I'll leave down below. Now this next one is actually really cool and something that I've recently discovered. It's going to be speeding up your haptics. So I don't know if you guys remember 3D Touch. We don't have 3D Touch specifically around anymore, but there's a similar way to kind of interact with applications. So if I long press on them, you get all this new menu stuff, right? So that's a possibility to kind of view in there and change things up. But you see that it's a little bit slow, right? It pops up, you take about a split second, maybe a little bit over a second. You can actually change the speed of which things open. And another way to actually look into this is if you go into the Photos application, you can actually long press on an image and then get a bigger view of it. And then also there's a couple shortcuts down there that you can play with. So you can long press on certain items and certain media and certain applications to get more options for that piece that you're actually looking to edit or anything like that. But in order to speed this up to make it feel faster, you can actually do this. So if I go back into my settings, we're gonna stay in accessibility, we're gonna stay in touch. Haptic touch is over here. Right now I have it set to fast. You can slow it down to default, slow it down to even slow, and you can actually test it out here. So if I long press on this image, it takes a second for it to enlarge. If I go even slower, it'll take even longer to enlarge. And then if I go fast, it'll open up quickly. So that alone will help you determine or make it feel like your phone is actually moving faster. So if I leave it on fast, now all those options are happening much faster than they would in the default mode. So I highly recommend changing that to fast. It doesn't really change anything functionally inside of it, it just makes it feel faster overall. And if you combine that with the ProMotion display, everything feels like butter. Now, one that I've been using more and more over the years is going to be Spotlight Search, especially when Apple decided to move everything over to like this weird app library situation. So Spotlight Search I use to bring up applications that aren't on my main screen. So you can, search whatever you want, it'll show you your most recent applications. All you have to do is no matter where you are on the home screen, just swipe down for Spotlight. But what people aren't aware of is that you can actually do a little bit more in here aside from just open up applications or open up your shortcut. For instance, this is going to be a calculator. So if I just want to type in 2 plus 2, it'll give me the equation right there and it'll show you that 2 plus 2 equals 4. And you can do this for any arithmetic problem. So you can multiply it, subtract it, do whatever you see fit. And it's also a built-in currency converter. So if I want to type in maybe 200 euros, it'll automatically start to convert that to dollars for me and let me know exactly how much it is in USD. And you can do that with pretty much any currency that's inside of the calculator currency converter application. So if you're just looking at something fast, of course it's using Yahoo Finance as its kind of like default search engine. But if you're in a pickle and you need to quickly look up what 200 euros is or 200 pounds is in dollars, you can do that through the actual Spotlight Search. And then of course you can do so much more in here. Let me know if you guys want a video of how to master Spotlight Search on your iPhone because there's so much that you can do. And now let's go back into the Photos application because there's a bunch of stuff in here that people just aren't really aware of that you can do in the Photos app. So I actually took a picture of, my sink here, and this is great for if you're taking pictures of waterfalls and things like that. But you have a couple options here if you do have live photos turned on. So if you have a live on, you have that little kind of drop-down menu here. If you tap on that, there's a new setting in here called long exposure. So if you press on long exposure, you give it a second to load up, you basically have a kind of GIF or GIF that kind of zooms in. If I long press on here, you can see that it's kind of going non-stop and it feels like the water is actually flowing in your picture. So play around with long exposure in your live photos, and I think you might be surprised of what can be done. And then another thing is going to be visual lookup. So for instance, you have the little I button down here. We've had all this information here before, but what's nice about this is that let's say, if I have a picture of my dog. So first up, you can see that it's actually changed a little bit. You can see that there's a little dog emblem down where the I was, and then it changed in real time again. If I tap on that, it's going to let me know that, hey, it's a dog. And secondly, it'll let me know like, hey, it's actually a Shiba Inu, and that's the breed of the dog. You can tap in here and get some more information. Now this can be done with flowers. It can be done with a lot of universally known things. So dog breeds, photos, posters, things of that nature. So for instance, I went to a concert, an Ed Sheeran concert a while ago. You can actually click on here. It'll know that you went to an Ed Sheeran concert, and you can see that Ed Sheeran actually pops up there. You can tap in there and get some more information on it if you want to, and everything like that, and then go into Apple Music. So it's really cool what the Photos app can do because it has your location and it takes a lot of metadata into account. So play around with the Photos application and play around with visual lookup especially, and you'd be surprised what you can find. Now, another cool one which I actually really like is the ability to customize your lock screen. So of course you have your lock screen, but you can see that my actual shortcuts over here are different. So here I still have my flashlight, but here you can see that I have a little sun like emblem there. And what that does is it lowers my white balance. You can see that it got darker. And the reason I do that, or my white point balance, the reason I do that is because it lowers the max or minimum brightness as well for the iPhone. So sometimes even the minimum brightness is too bright in a very darkly lit environment, and I like to be able to dim it down even more. But then you're wondering, first off, how do you do that? Very easy. You just long press on your home screen, where you press on Customize, and you have the ability to remove and add whatever you see fit here. So if I want to remove that, I can press it and add whatever I want. So pretty much anything that's in your control center can then be added to your lock screen as a shortcut. So again, I'm going to type in here, the white point. You can see it shows up. Reduce white point, I added it in there, and you can do that with this one as well. And you can even add some more over here, which is great to see. And then you're probably wondering, oh, what do you do about the actual camera shortcut? Well, there's a bunch of ways that you can actually still go to your camera. For instance, if you have a relatively modern iPhone, you have camera control, so I can press on this to bring up the camera. And then also, you can swipe across, which I actually removed. You can remove the ability to just swipe over and bring up the camera. And then like I showed you previously, if I double tap on the back, it'll also bring up the camera for me. And then another recent one, which I think is absolutely epic, is going to be the ability to stop music or stop your media playing when you have a timer set up. So we've all grown up with a TV timer, so you can set up your TV. I think you can still do this, but you can set it up so if you fall asleep to your TV, in 30 minutes it'll turn off the TV so you're not waking up to a random commercial. You can do the same thing on your iPhone. So it's very easy. All you have to do is go into your clock, then go to your timers, and then set up, let's say, a 1-hour timer. And then down here, you have a couple options. So you have your when the timer ends, which is where you want to be. And normally when you set up a timer, you want an alarm to go off because you're setting a timer maybe for cooking or something like that. But you have the ability to turn on stop playing. So that basically stops all media from playing on your iPhone when that timer ends. So if you fall asleep to a podcast or to some ambient music or an album or something, and you don't want it to keep going, you don't want to miss too much, you can press stop playing, and it'll stop playing that media for you when that timer goes off. And then two more that I wanted to show off, which are actually super beneficial. The first one's in the Notes application. Now this feature's been around for a while now, and it's going to be the ability to scan documents. But if you guys haven't scanned a document on your iPhone, you should do it because it's actually better or just as good as having a dedicated scanner, which is crazy. So if you press on the paperclip, you can scan text, scan documents. So if I scan this document, let's grab this guy right here and see if it scans it. Scan that up for me. We look at it. You have this beautiful scan that you can then save, retake, rotate, delete, adjust, put filters onto it, do whatever you want. We'll press check. And then that scanned document shows up in the notes. And of course you can save it to your cloud, you can save it to files, you can edit it, you can do whatever you see fit. There's a little option here, so you want to tap on that little option, you can get the little thumbnail. You get even more on here, so you have even more functionality when it comes to that. So being able to scan a PDF is fantastic as well. And then the last one I want to bring up is going to be type to Siri. Now this one is relatively new, so of course you have the ability to speak to Siri, so you can long press or say the command to bring it up. But if you double tap on the bottom of your actual display, it's actually hidden. But if you double tap down there, the bar will show up, and then you get this type to Siri format in UI, which allows you to pretty much, instead of saying what you want to Siri, just typing it out and get the same exact responses. Or if you want to give it a command via type to text, then you can do that as well. But those are all features that I think everybody needs to know about and not a lot of people talk about. Let's finish up the video. So that will just about do for this video, everybody. As you saw, there's an abundance of different iOS tips that everybody's constantly learning from. Some old ones that have just been hidden for a long time that not a lot of people know about. And then of course, as more and more iOS updates come out, there'll be newer tips and tricks and more accessibility stuff coming out in the settings, which honestly just makes your iPhone that much more customizable. Gone are the days where you can say that Android phones were just more customizable than iPhones. It might be true to a certain extent, but for the most part, iPhones, you can get them to do pretty much whatever you want at this point, especially if you go through the accessibility settings, because that kind of removes all the guardrails when it comes to kind of setting up your iPhone the way that you want to. But let me know in the comment down below what you think. Did you know any of these tips and features? Did you know how to do everything that I mentioned? And if there's some other tips and tricks that I should check out, which are, again, under the radar, things that people don't really know about, comment them down below and I'll definitely check them out and we'll do a follow-up video to this one. But that'll do it for this video. If you guys made it to the end, leave a little dolphin. And if you guys want to watch videos like this one, check out one of these videos right here. Until next time, I'm Fernando. Peace, everyone.